I chased Noah Vance for 10 years straight. High school, college, everything. Then one day I realized I was performing a one-woman show that had become absolutely pathetic, so I turned around and married Julian Sterling instead, the man who'd been waiting in the shadows for 5 years, patient as a predator stalking prey. 1 week before my due date, Julian disappeared. No calls, no texts, he simply vanished into thin air. There I was, enormous with pregnancy, ignoring every doctor's warning to take bed rest, tearing the city apart looking for him like a crazed lunatic. This world is ruthless. I'd convinced myself he'd gotten mixed up with some Wall Street psychopath or worse, that someone had kidnapped him. Then I found him in Miami. When I flew into Miami and dragged my swollen body through the exclusive Paradise Club's champagne-soaked hallways, Julian was sprawled on a leather VIP couch, living his best dissolute life. The bass was thundering. The air reeked of expensive cologne. I could hear him laughing before I even reached the frosted glass door of the private lounge. Julian was laughing in a way I'd never heard before. Wild, reckless, completely unlike him. He had a glass of premium whiskey dangling from his hand, and that laughter made my blood turn to ice water.
So, Julian,
A blonde girl in a bikini top draped herself across him, her voice dripping honey.
let me get the timeline straight. Your wife's supposed to have that baby any day now, right? So why are you down here in Miami popping champagne instead of holding her hand in New York?
Julian ran his fingers through the girl's hair with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. He tipped his head back, drained his drink, then smiled that smile, the kind that belonged on a predator's face.
You mean Chloe?
He laughed, cold and bitter.
That woman? She's nothing but a used-up reject. Everyone knows she was obsessed with Noah Vance for 10 goddamn years, like some psychotic stalker. Who knows what happened between those two behind closed doors?
His face twisted into something ugly and proud.
I'm probably the first man who ever actually had her, if you believe it. 10 years she chased after that bookish loser, and he never even touched her. Not once.
Looking at this drunken, vile creature sprawled on the couch, I couldn't connect him to the man in my memories. The one who held an umbrella over my head in the rain. Always so careful, always so gentle. The blonde girl traced a lazy finger down his chest.
Come on, Julian, that's not cool. She's carrying your baby. That's your family's legacy.
Julian pulled another girl against him and started moving to the electronic beat thundering through the club. His voice got louder, like he needed Miami to hear every word.
You think I actually love her? Then you don't know me at all.
He drained another drink, his eyes going wild and dark.
I married her from day one for one reason, and one reason only. To fuck with Noah Vance. To ruin him.
He leaned forward, voice dropping to something more sinister, like he was sharing a blood secret.
You want to know why? Because the Vance family murdered my father. My father's company, legendary on Wall Street. They systematically shorted us into the ground, tore us apart piece by piece. By the time the SEC investigators showed up, it was too late. My dad jumped from the top of his office building. And where was Noah Vance? Giving his graduation speech at Columbia, standing on stage getting applause for being a goddamn hero. Now the one woman he wanted to keep pure for 10 years is my wife. Carrying a bastard he can never claim as his own. It destroys him. I can see it in his face. I'd send him photos of me and Chloe together just to watch him suffer.
He grinned, absolutely vicious.
That baby in her belly? Chloe thinks it's mine, but it isn't. She has no idea. When she gives birth and I tell her the truth, she'll lose her fucking mind.
The girls in the lounge gasped like they'd heard the juiciest scandal of their lives.
Wait, the baby isn't yours?
Outside that frosted door, I felt my blood crystallize in my veins. My hands went numb. Every single word hit me like a sledgehammer. I'd never crossed a line with Noah. Not once. Even when I was obsessed with him, I was faithful. Completely. I'd given Julian everything. My trust, my love, my future. All of it. Was he insane? Then his voice came again through the glass, vicious and low.
That stupid woman has no fucking clue. Wedding night, I slipped something into her champagne, something special, knocked her out cold, like a dead animal.
Julian's face twisted in the dim light like something monstrous.
Then guess what? I let someone else into the honeymoon suite.
He covered his face and laughed.
Don't tell me you don't know. Hell, I don't even remember his name. Just some guy I found. Some drifter. Guy they said was carrying the virus.
God, the virus?
The girls' faces went white. Standing outside that door, I felt my heart get struck by lightning. Everything I believed in, love, loyalty, the man I married, it all shattered into pieces on that floor. I flashed back to our wedding in the Hamptons. Hundreds of guests, priests, white roses falling like snow. We kissed. I'd had a few drinks. I remembered going to our suite dizzy and exhausted, falling asleep immediately. The next morning I woke to find Julian's handsome face smiling at me, a breakfast tray in his hands.
Good morning, baby. I made your favorite, pancakes and bacon.
I've been so stupid. I really thought I was living in a fairy tale. The fairy tale just ended. My prince was nothing but a demon in a Tom Ford suit. The virus? What kind of monster has to be that cruel to his own wife on their wedding night? Julian, do you hate me that much? Hate me for loving Noah? Is that why you married me? Was every single second of the last 5 years you just acting? I touched my belly through my coat. "'Kay, Julian, you want revenge? You want to watch me go insane? Let's see who really loses their mind, because a woman with the truth can be more dangerous than anyone on Wall Street." It made me think about things from way back. I just moved back from Europe, transferred into an elite prep school on the Upper East Side as a junior. Being a transfer student, I didn't fit. I was basically a target. A few lacrosse jocks had me cornered in the hallway. Then Noah Vance appeared like some superhero out of a movie. He was student body president, quarterback. He stepped in front of me, took every single hit meant for me. From that moment on, I was completely gone for him. 10 years gone. I remember this one day when it rained so hard in New York that you could barely see. Cut class, made homemade brownies, went to surprise him. He wasn't even there. I was walking through Central Park in that downpour, soaked through, completely humiliated. That's when Julian showed up. He'd been following me the whole time. He was drenched too, but that expensive black umbrella of his never wavered from my head. He followed me in silence all the way until I stopped walking. Then Julian pulled me against him, and through the rain I heard him screaming,
Chloe, I just want you to be okay. That bastard Noah doesn't deserve you. I don't care if you feel the same way, but I swear to God I will never let anyone hurt you again, especially not Noah.
After 5 years of that relentless, tender campaign, I finally broke. I let go of Noah. I let myself feel what I thought was love for Julian. I was certain. It wasn't just gratitude. It was real love. But looking back now, it was all a lie. The boy who made that promise in the rain was nothing but a liar from start to finish. The voices in the lounge interrupted my thoughts.
Julian, if that's how you feel, shouldn't you be with your wife right now?
Someone gave him a knowing look.
I mean, if she figures out something's wrong before she has the baby, your whole game falls apart.
Right.
Another girl laughed.
You gotta keep playing the perfect husband. Wait until after the kid's born. Then you can destroy her. That's when it'll really break her.
Julian swirled his drink and nodded like they'd given him actual wisdom. He pulled out a stack of bills and threw them at the girl who'd suggested it.
Smart thinking. That's what I've been waiting for anyway.
I held myself together. I didn't go inside and slap him across the face. That would have been too easy on him. Let's play the long game then. I'll take whatever you're dishing out. That night, I flew back to New York on a private flight. I used family connections to make sure the flight records disappeared from any normal system. Being a Sterling had some advantages, even now. When I landed, I went directly to a private clinic and scheduled a termination. Then I got tested for everything, while I waited for the results. Probably the longest hour of my life. I called my lawyer.
New York has no-fault divorce laws.
My lawyer said, clinical and efficient.
We can initiate that immediately. Your prenup is extremely favorable. Child support and asset division. We have tremendous leverage. Medical records are protected under HIPAA. You have the right to make any medical decision that protects your physical and mental health.
After I hung up, I looked at the test results. Negative. Somehow, the virus thing was probably just another lie, or the drifter never showed up. Either way, I was clean, but I still did the termination anyway. I put my hand on my stomach where I thought I was carrying his child, where I thought I was carrying proof of our love. Now it was just a container full of lies, a monument to his cruelty. I couldn't save this life. It started because of his evil plot. But I could at least prevent it from being born into a world designed to destroy it. That unborn child, the one that never should have existed, just like that, gone. Back in the penthouse on the Upper East Side, I stared at our wedding photo on the wall. Disgust flooded through me. I ran to the bathroom and got sick. Later, I took out my phone. Algorithms are terrifying. Or maybe people just don't hide things. I found an account called Julian Sterling on the photo app. No face pics, but every photo screamed luxury. Every photo was about some mysterious boyfriend. The newest video showed a yacht, a hand holding another hand. I recognized the hand immediately. Patek Philippe watch with the serial number engraved inside. The engraving was tiny, intimate. C&J. The caption said, March 27th, my J and I in Miami Heat. Just then my phone rang. The name on the screen made my throat tighten. Noah, I answered.
Chloe,
His voice dripped with dark amusement.
I have something I think you need to see.
He sent me a video. It was our living room. A young girl was stretched across our Italian sofa, a towel wrapped around her head like she was sick. Julian was bent over her with infinite tenderness.
Come on, baby. Drink the medicine.
She sat up and kissed him.
You done watching?
Noah's voice came back on the line. I kept my voice completely flat.
So what? Noah, you have too much free time. You're being a bastard like always. Are you here to watch me suffer?
Noah's words came rapid and desperate.
I'm trying to tell you who Julian really is. He's a monster. Chloe, he doesn't deserve you. I've been waiting for you this whole time, and I just need you to know.
Get fucked!
I said and hung up. The next morning, I felt someone sitting on the bed. When I opened my eyes, Julian was there. He looked rough, exhausted, but his eyes still had that perfect rehearsed tenderness.
You're awake.
He asked. Looking at him, I couldn't tell which was real anymore. The filthy drunk from the Miami club or this beautiful man in our bed. They couldn't possibly be the same person. Then pain shot through my lower stomach. Post-surgery pain. I grabbed my belly and made my face twist in agony. Julian went white.
Chloe, what's wrong? Is the baby coming?
He reached for the blanket. I stopped him quick. He couldn't find out yet that there was no baby.
Sweetheart, it hurts so bad. Call an ambulance.
Half an hour later, I was in Mount Sinai Hospital's private wing. My doctor was a college friend named David. I told him about emotional abuse, life-threatening psychological trauma. I gave him the evidence. Following HIPAA protocols and patient protection standards, he agreed to adjust certain medical details in my file. It's legal when there's intimate partner abuse, especially when the patient's safety is at risk. Julian came in with red eyes like he'd been crying. He sat on the bed and took my hand.
Jesus, you scared me. The doctor says it's just false labor. You need to stay a few days for observation. But once we get the baby here safe, everything's going to be perfect.
I smiled weakly.
Whatever you say.
Julian, you wanted me to have this baby so you could humiliate me in front of everyone, right? So the world could see what a failure I am? Go ahead. Let's see what happens when everyone shows up to celebrate the Sterling family's new heir and discovers the mother has evaporated, the baby that never existed. I want to watch how that makes you look. And this first act of the show, it opens on my due date. Julian was relieved when my vital signs stabilized.
Baby, you haven't eaten all night. I'm going home to make you something. That soup my grandmother taught me. The one you love. I already arranged for nursing care.
He added, kissed my forehead and left. When he was gone, I noticed his phone on the nightstand. I picked it up. Password was still my birthday. I opened the messaging app. The account Julian Goldensee had new messages. The girl's name was Ivy. Ivy.
Jay, you're at the hospital? I just saw your location tag. I'm here getting checked for period pain. Since you're here anyway, could you come see me? I made you clam chowder. Remember you said it was amazing? I made extra this time. Haha.
There was a flirty emoji at the end. I heard footsteps and quickly marked it unread, put the phone back. Julian came back through the door with a stack of hospital receipts. He walked over with his perfect actor's smile, brushed my hair back gently.
Rest, sweetheart. I'll be right back.
I forced a smile.
Be careful driving.
He picked up his phone and started typing as he left.
Don't come up. Wait in the lobby. I'll be right down.
The second he left, I threw on a jacket and followed him. The hospital lobby was chaos. Nurses, families, visitors. I spotted them by the Starbucks. Ivy looked even younger in person. Fresh college graduate vibes, practically glowing with youth. When she saw Julian, she jumped to him like a bird.
Jay, you're here.
He caught her in his smile. God, his smile had that genuine warmth I hadn't seen in years. This was how he used to look at me. He could manufacture love like a factory. Ivy pouted.
Why haven't you been texting? Is that bitch wife of yours hanging on you again?
Julian patted her back, impatient.
Don't bring her up. That crazy woman called in the middle of the night with stomach problems. Kept me up all night. But seeing you makes it better. You're the one I actually care about, Ivy. When this is all done, I'm going to marry you. We'll go to Paris.
You're so good to me,
Ivy said, blushing red. She handed him a thermos.
Here's your soup. Since you said you had to cook for her anyway, this saves you work.
Julian laughed, dark.
There's not poison in here, right?
Ivy smacked him playfully.
Stop. Do you really think I'm that kind of girl? Besides, that little problem in her belly needs to show up safe and sound. That's when you destroy her. That's when it gets good.
Julian pulled her close.
You really do understand me. Let's go to your room. I think I need some comfort care.
They walked toward the elevator holding hands. I stood behind a pillar watching like a ghost. There was a time when he announced my name in Times Square on the biggest screen in the world and got on one knee. There was a time when he promised me in front of all our friends that I was his entire world. Now those promises smelled like hospital disinfectant. Hours later, Julian was back in my hospital room. He had the thermos with him. He opened it and cream-colored steam rose up.
Chloe, I made you something special. Had to take some time to get it perfect, but anything for you.
I watched him. I could taste the poison already, metaphorically speaking.
It smells amazing.
I sat up and let him feed me a spoonful.
Your cooking just keeps getting better.
Julian looked smug.
I'll make you anything you want from now on.
Actually, where did you go, Julian?
I watched his face carefully.
The company said they haven't seen you. Nobody knows where you've been.
His expression flickered. Then he sighed.
You're right. I should have told you. The Asia division had a hostile takeover situation. Some leveraged buyout bullshit. The other side triggered a poison pill defense. I had to handle it immediately. And thinking about becoming a father, I just had so much anxiety. I needed somewhere quiet to think. But I swear, I'm done running. Never again.
He squeezed my hand.
The three of us, our little family, we're going to have the perfect life, Chloe. I promise.
His voice was so gentle, but he smelled like her perfume.
It's okay. You're here now. That's all that matters.
I said, and I started crying. Not real tears, just performance. If you're going to keep playing the perfect husband, then I'll play the perfect victim. Let's see how this ends, Julian. To make the act more believable, I suggested we go shopping for baby things. Julian was reluctant, but to maintain his perfect husband image, he cleared his schedule and we went to Bergdorf Goodman on Fifth Avenue. I draped myself on his arm, pointing at the fancy stroller, the cashmere baby clothes. Every item I picked up, I played the role of the blissful expectant mother asking his opinion.
Julian, what do you think? Should we paint the nursery pale blue or ivory?
Whatever you want, baby.
He smiled, but his eyes kept checking his phone. Walking down the crowded Manhattan street after shopping, I suddenly stopped and looked at him, half joking.
Julian, what if we just didn't do this? What if we skipped having the baby?
Julian's face went ghostly white, like I'd just told him I wanted to commit murder.
What the hell are you talking about? Are you serious right now?
He grabbed my shoulders hard enough to hurt.
This is our Sterling heir. This is life, Chloe. What's wrong with you?
He was panicking because without the baby, his entire revenge scheme collapses. He can't humiliate me if there's nothing to humiliate me with. He was breathing hard, fighting to stay calm.
I mean, we'll be fine. I'll work more, hire the best nannies. You don't have to suffer. But please don't talk like that again. I'm actually really excited to be a father.
I could see the sweat on his forehead.
I was just joking,
I said softly, touching his face.
Look how scared you got.
Julian exhaled in relief and pulled me close.
Don't ever scare me like that. The three of us. That's everything to me.
In those next days, I started writing. Not a normal diary. A script, written specifically for Julian. I used an old Mont Blanc pen, the first gift he ever gave me, so the ink would look faded and real. I deliberately wore the leather notebook's edges so it looked lived in. When I disappeared, the police would search our home. He would search it. This diary would be the final thing that breaks him.
2.5 months until my due date. Julian vanished. I feel like the sky is crashing down. I sat in the empty nursery and cried for hours. God, please let my husband be safe. 2 months to go. He came back. Thank God. He looks tired, but he brought my favorite soup. As long as he's here, I can survive anything. 8 weeks until the baby. We picked out the crib today. Watching him put it together, I felt like the luckiest woman alive. Whatever problems we had, I know that he loves me and our baby. We're going to be the most envied family on the East Side.
I closed the beautiful leather book and placed it prominently on the nightstand. Meanwhile, Julian's phone was constantly vibrating. Ivy was sending him hotel room keycards.
Reward time has arrived, Jay.
Julian adjusted his tie.
The Asia situation blew up again. I have to go handle it.
Of course,
I said, watching him leave, completely calm. Then the doorbell rang one afternoon. It was Ivy. She was wearing Chanel, carrying an Hermes bag. She looked at me like I was beneath her.
So you're Chloe. Finally meeting you. Funny, based on everything in Jay's photo album, I feel like we're already pretty intimate,
she said, walking straight past me into the living room without invitation. She sat in the middle of the couch like she owned it. I poured her water.
I don't know you. If you're selling insurance, the answer is no.
Ivy laughed cold.
Come on, don't be stupid. I know you chased some nerd named Noah for 10 years. I also know that Julian is only your backup plan. Women are all the same. They get what they want, so they think they can coast.
She stood up and got close to me.
But I'm different. I love Julian the way you loved that loser. I'm obsessed. If you had any self-respect, you'd take your child support and disappear. The position of Mrs. Sterling? That's mine.
Then the door burst open. Noah was standing there looking furious. He pushed Ivy aside and grabbed my shoulders.
What is she doing here? How long are you going to let this asshole abuse you? That's enough.
Noah positioned himself in front of me.
How much longer are you going to tolerate this?
He turned, hands on my shoulders, his eyes full of painful concern.
Chloe, you heard what she said. You can't keep pretending this is normal. That Julian is a piece of shit.
I pushed his hands away, disgusted.
Noah, this is my marriage. Get out of my house.
Chloe, I'm trying to help. Just divorce him. Let me be there for you. I'll take care of you and the baby.
He didn't even realize how insane he sounded. Just then the front door slammed open. Julian stood there and his whole body went rigid. His girlfriend draped across his best friend. His wife standing there looking fragile. His rage ignited like a gasoline fire.
Noah, get your disgusting hands off my wife.
Julian moved like a predator. That punch was vicious. Blood poured from Noah's mouth.
You're crazy.
Noah yelled, touching his lip.
You're the one keeping a mistress while your wife is about to give birth. That girl you're screwing, Ivy, she's literally right here. Stop lying to her face.
Julian froze. His eyes went to me, wide with terror. His perfect plan couldn't fall apart now. Then he dropped to his knees. He was sobbing, completely destroyed. The image of a husband drowning in regret. If I hadn't heard everything in Miami, I would have believed those tears. He wrapped his arms around my legs.
Chloe, don't believe him. This is Noah's game. He hired that actress to break us up. I don't know that woman. I swear on everything. You and our baby are all I care about.
He looked up at me through tears, shaking. I sighed quietly and knelt down. I wiped his tears with a tissue.
You think I'd believe Noah?
I said gently, touching his face.
You're my husband. Of course I trust you.
Julian went rigid. His whole body trembled. I don't know if it was relief that his plan survived, or if his conscience was screaming at him about what I'd just said. Calm him down and execute the next phase. I suggested a weekend at our Hampton house, where we first got together. The ocean breeze was cool. We walked along the beach. I asked a tourist to photograph us. In the photo, I'm glowing with a fake pregnant belly, smiling. Julian looks strained, empty.
You look sad in this picture.
I mentioned casually.
No.
He lied badly.
I'm happy. I'm always happy when I'm with you.
Monday morning, Julian went back to the office in Manhattan like usual. I picked up the phone I'd prepared in advance.
Professor Anderson? It's me. I'm ready for that year-long visiting scholar position in London. I'm heading to Kennedy right now.
Before I left, I destroyed every single piece of baby equipment in the house. I cut up those expensive cashmere clothes with scissors. I smashed the crib he'd assembled with his own hands. The nursery looked like a bomb went off. Then I printed out the divorce papers I'd already signed. I left them on the coffee table along with that diary. The one full of fake love, fake promises, fake everything. Last, I took off my wedding ring and dropped it in the trash. Goodbye, Julian. Goodbye, New York. 6 months later, London rain never stops, but I've learned to love it. The academic environment here has given me back something I'd lost. I remember what it feels like to be Chloe again. Not Mrs. Sterling, just Chloe. One afternoon at a cafe in Covent Garden, I ran into Sarah, a college friend who was in London on business. Sarah pulled some groceries out of her bag, stuff I'd mentioned on the phone that I missed.
Trader Joe's products. You know I'd remember what you like.
I smiled, accepting them.
The food here is good, but sometimes you just want a taste of home.
Sarah leaned close, her voice dropping to something conspiratorial.
Hey, guess who I saw in New York last week?
Who?
Julian Sterling.
Sarah shook her head sadly.
After you left, it got huge. He went insane looking for you. Stopped caring about the family trust. The board kicked him out. The guy looks like a homeless person now. Unshaven. Wearing wrinkled jackets. Nothing like that golden boy from the Upper East Side anymore. He read your diary and had some kind of breakdown at home. Started screaming. Threw that girlfriend Ivy out on the street. Even beat the shit out of Noah. Basically, he's become a complete joke in the city.
I stirred my coffee. No emotion.
You're really not curious?
Sarah looked shocked.
Like, even if you don't know what happened between you two, he looks completely destroyed.
He deserved it.
I said simply. Just then the cafe bell chimed. A man walked in, unshaven, wearing a wrinkled raincoat. He looked 10 years older than he should. His eyes were dead. Julian. I wasn't even surprised. Sarah was the only friend of mine he could track down. I'd known he'd find her. I knew he'd follow her here. When he saw me, something flickered in those dead eyes. A tiny spark of light returned.
Chloe,
His voice was rough like gravel. He stumbled toward me.
it's really you.
Sarah picked up her bag and quietly left. She understood.
Why are you here?
I asked him, my voice ice. Julian put both hands on the table. They were shaking.
Chloe, I know I fucked up. This whole past 6 months, I've been drowning in guilt. I found your diary. I know how much you loved me. I know what I threw away. Can we start over? For the baby? For what we lost?
I smiled at the mention of the baby.
Julian, you're hilarious.
I stood up, looking directly into his eyes, sharp as blades.
You really think I left because I got bored?
I leaned close to his ear, making sure only he could hear.
The Paradise Club, South Beach, the Eden Lounge. You, sitting there with those girls.
With each word, his pupils contracted. His whole body started shaking like I was electrocuting him.
Talking about how you married me just to hurt Noah. Talking about how your father's company got destroyed by the Vances. Talking about that supposed HIV-positive drifter you put in our bedroom on our wedding night. How you planned to humiliate me after I gave birth.
Julian lost the ability to speak. He collapsed in the chair like someone had removed his spine.
I was standing outside that frosted glass door the whole time.
I smiled and made one final cut.
And the baby? There is no baby. Never was one. I terminated the pregnancy the first day back in New York. That big belly you saw? Just padding. The baby? I ended it before you even knew it existed. So there's nothing you lost. No devoted wife crying for you. That diary was fiction. A story I made up for you to find. Every bit of pain you're feeling, it was in my script.
Julian's mouth opened but nothing came out. Just little choking sounds. Complete despair and humiliation swallowed him whole. I grabbed my purse and fixed my coat collar.
This is London, not your playground. If you ever appear in front of me again, I'm calling the police and filing a restraining order.
I pushed open the cafe door into the cool, fresh London air. The sunlight broke through the clouds and lit up the street. I raised my head and took a long step forward. I never looked back.